everybody. Welcome to another episode of My Worst Date. I'm Cassie.
I'm Keegan.
I'm Christina.
Hi.
And I have a real radio voice today. My voice is so low.
Mine is too. I think it's because we
spent
were
a week talking to people.
Yes, like yelling over music
yeah.
which I'm just like, why at networking events do they do that? Like, I know we're trying to have like a loosey-goosey fun time.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. But I'm also like, the whole point of a network event is to talk to people.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I what? I can't hear you. Sorry?
And so you just end up screaming in people's faces. This is how COVID spread.
Yeah.
True.
Pretty much. Hopefully not. Oh my goodness. But it was good. It was good to actually like feel normal again for a second.
Yeah, and
awesome.
to reconnect with some other podcasters as well. If we have any new listeners, hi. Hey there.
Hey there. Welcome. Bienvenue.
We're happy to have you.
Yeah, no, it was fun. Actually, it was really fun. You hear our exhaustion, I think.
We're exhausted.
Yeah.
Yeah, truly.
As much as I'm an extrovert, I was telling Christina this on the way here today. I was like, as much as I'm an extrovert, it just reminds me of like, and it's been so long since we were doing like, since we've been doing stuff that like doing just 3 days straight or 4 days straight of like just interaction, talking to people, smiling. You know,
I mean, what I was saying, and I told you guys, is like, I am so used to being home all day. First of all, I'm not used to wearing clothes anymore. Like wearing real pants, like jeans. I'm like, oh my God, have they always been this restrictive, or like what's going on?
Girl, my feet were fucking throbbing.
Yeah, I'm like, look, man, I am barefoot in like socks and sweatpants every day of my life within arm's reach of a bed at any given time. Like
you never know when nap time's gonna pop off.
Right, 100%. And I'm like, I am so not used to like being out in the world for a full business day anymore.
Yeah.
Like I can't handle it.
And not eat. I mean, like to that point, being home, you've been able to prepare your own food. You've been able to like, and so eating out every day, multiple times a day.
Right.
It was,
and I'm like, is this what lot. Food costs now? Like I feel like I'm like, like I have sticker shock, and I'm like, has literally everything about life. I'm like, has it always been this way?
No, it's difficult just because it's been a few years. For me, you know, the resident introvert here, like you guys know, that was
a lot.
Yeah.
Well, we had one day, like literally Keegan and I were up by 5 a.m. so that we could be in the car on our way to Christina's house by 6 a.m. I mean, it was a full fucking day.
Yeah, I mean, because we didn't get home from that day until like 11 p.m. So we were up at 5.
Maybe later,
home.
Right?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Oof. And I still took a bath that night. Got home at like 11, got in the bathtub. I was like, I just need to wash this day away. Like, off of me. Yeah. And it was a great day. You know, don't get me wrong.
It just got me thinking too about like, are we jumping right back into the old world? Like
apparently.
That's kind of really what it felt like, being transported back to 2019. And I kind of have mixed feelings about it.
Yeah.
I do too. Yeah. It had it was a weird vibe. I will say there was part of me that was like, we're all right. I guess we're both feet in. Here we go.
Yeah. Also, it was a conference.
Yeah.
And I got this vibe the very first day that I was there. And it was confirmed for us later on at the conference that there are a lot of men who, I don't know if they're married, but they sure are wearing wedding rings, who are at this conference trying to pick up women, like,
absolutely,
left and right.
As soon as they saw our badges that say "My Worst Date,"
they're like, got it in. Yeah,
we heard some
horrifying
stuff. I was quite surprised. That one guy that was like
really thought it was funny.
Talking to us about his wife and like, I'm glad I'm not dating again. Later we see him with fucking Tinder on his phone.
Well, not
swiping through Tinder.
We didn't just see him with Tinder on his phone. He showed it to us and asked, because we have a dating podcast,
if we
could help him.
With him. I'm like, sir, you were just talking about your wife.
Right.
Wow.
And also, like, look, this man was your very standard kind of like
classic.
He looked like a middle manager, right?
And
the
He's
age,
a total Kevin.
The age, wow, the age setting on his Tinder, like the people that he was showing me were literally like 20 years old. And again, we've talked age many, many times on this podcast. Like, people mature at different rates. there's a large age gap between me and my husband. Like it's not inherently bad. It's just there's something
It is
about
when
a
you're
type
married.
of man.
It is when you're
Right.
married.
It is
It
when
doesn't
you're
matter what
married.
the age group.
Right. Well, also there is something about a type of man.
Also, hashtag not all Kevins.
Right. I'm like, I know we have some Kevins who listen.
I know.
And they're like, wait a second.
He's sweet. I do like the Kevin that's our regular. So
Yes.
not you.
Not you.
Specifically not you. But him, yes.
Yes. Yeah.
And his name was not Kevin.
No, it was not.
I
But-
remember.
No. Yes.
No, but that makes me think of that Twitter thread that got brought up recently that was like the worst lies that men have told.
Yeah. Like, what's he gonna tell his wife when he goes home? You know.
Right. I posted on our on our Facebook group, and it was from a Twitter thread, and the thread starts, "Ladies, what is the worst lie you have heard come out of a man's mouth?" Apparently, men are very creative with their lives. The one that was part of this post said, "Found a bra in his suitcase, and he said it's his from when he was fat years back. He said he had saggy titties and kept it to remind him how far he'd come on his weight loss journey."
Oh, honey, sweetie, baby,
Bold.
angel.
Wow.
Also, there's so many other things. I think we were like laughing about it, but it's like, okay, so maybe he likes to wear like women's lingerie. That's fine.
And
That's
listen, that is a thing that a lot of
Yeah, not shaming that.
that is a thing that a lot of men who have that kink, you know, or I don't even know if you'd call it a kink, but that they feel ashamed about, right? And so maybe they do want to take it with them on a conference because it's the one time they can hang out in their hotel room in their bra and
love
panty
that.
set, right?
I love
and,
that.
and
I love
just
it
be
for you.
themselves, right?
Yeah.
Maybe that's the case. However,
I think that if it was the case, he's like, "I'm sorry, I'm cheating on you." Because he would probably, I mean, you know what I'm saying? People are funny about like, I don't want to share my kink.
but that is a creative lie.
I mean,
Yes.
that lie is...
Oh, I've got
Bold.
another one for
Okay,
you.
okay.
Here we go. Found a panty in his closet, and he said it belonged to his late mother.
Nope.
And he smells it for good luck.
No.
I believed it.
No! Oh, goddamn! Oh, goddamn!
There are layers. There are layers.
Like an artichoke, my friend.
Oh, no!
Oh, my God.
fucking
To me-
no.
To me, that is so much worse than just admitting that you're cheating. Like, that is so much
don't-
worse.
You
No.
would rather tell
Wait.
another person that
Yes,
you
you
smell
sniff your mom's
Oh.
panties.
Yes.
Your late mom's.
I can't. My brain is literally
Oh, my God.
gonna explode.
And then she believed him.
I know, honey.
Level of delusion. How hot was this man?
Oh,
Oh,
no.
no.
That's always the question. Was like,
Just oh my gosh.
you're willing to believe some lies.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Here's another one. He said he booked the hotel room because he needed the Wi-Fi.
You
yes.
can't go to a Starbucks.
Yes, that's you can't because you couldn't use the lobby.
Yes.
Feels like the
You had
lobby's
to
where
pay for the hotel room. I needed the Wi-Fi.
Honey.
I needed the Wi-Fi.
I will tell you right fucking now, as somebody who traveled all the time, if I was ever in a predicament where I was like, I absolutely need emergency Wi-Fi, I would go into any Hilton or wherever and just be like, hey, can you give me the Wi-Fi password, the guest password for the lobby? Just walk in like you do not need to get a hotel room
No,
for that.
I mean, and
Also,
again,
go to a coffee shop.
there are so many places to get free Wi-Fi. There is a Starbucks on every corner. Like, you can't go
My
into a
man.
Starbucks if you need Wi-Fi. Like, people go into these places all the time to do work. Find a local library, my dude.
Here's a fun convoluted one.
Okay.
My baby daddy told me the reason his ex knew he had Scooby-Doo boxers on the night he went out and didn't come home was he stopped at his sister's and changed underwear because they were small, and his sister put them on because she thought they were cute. And his ex came over to his sister's later, and his sister told the ex that the boxers were my baby daddy's. That's some convoluted bullshit.
Hun,
And the comments on there are like, if you're a fucking sister, you've never put on your
Never.
Never.
No.
As the only girl with three brothers, literally not
Don't
once
touch
ever,
me.
and also fucking gross. Like, ew.
Would you-
Absolutely
Absolutely
ew.
not. Absolutely not.
I don't care
And
how
I
fucking
never
cute
knew.
their boxers are. I don't want to see them. Get them
And
a fucking-
also, it's an extra level of hell no, like fresh Like he just took them off, like still warm boxers.
No.
Not a fucking chance. Why? Like, why would you make up a lie that's that complicated?
So convoluted.
Like you couldn't just be like, oh, maybe my pants slipped while I was at the pumping gas and she saw me at the gas station, or why?
My ex-husband called me in the middle of the night and told me his car had broke down in front of a strip club. Swore he hadn't been there. I told him to just walk home.
Just, you know what?
It just broke down here. I don't know.
I don't know. Just right in front of.
Oh, that's too bad.
Titties.
Good night.
Okay. He texted to say he fainted at church, blacked out, and was rushed to the hospital. Tried calling and even went to the hospital he was supposed to be at. Wasn't picking up calls and nowhere to be found. Turned out he proposed to a girl from his church that Saturday.
Wait. What?
What? Your boyfriend just disappears and he's engaged to another woman.
I'm speechless.
Yeah,
Clearly,
exactly.
That's quite a lie. Again, all of these lies I feel like are like so, like they're too much. Like I feel like that's a dead giveaway whenever a lie is too complicated,
Too
where it's just like,
elaborate.
yeah, or just too ridiculous.
It's Occam's razor. I'm like, we go through day to day and it's like, simple shit happens 99.9% of the time. So the more complicated something is, I'm always a little sus. Because I'm like, that's fucking bizarre. That's
yeah. I mean, and to
happen.
go back to the boxers one, as your sister, please leave me the fuck out of it.
Also, yes,
leave me out of your lie.
Yeah,
like, I don't want to.
I'm not
purchase. I don't want to be complicit in whatever is going on here at all. And again, like I don't know, just. Know when you've been caught. Just know when you've been had. Like, you just call it.
Yeah. Oh, gosh. Well, how about this? He disappeared for 3 weeks during December. He came back after Christmas and said he went for second circumcision and calls were not allowed.
Where are you at where calls are not allowed? They're like, you literally can't make any calls.
For 3 weeks?
And what is second circumcision?
Sir, that's not how this works, honey.
None of it. I'm like, wait.
That is an out of office procedure. That is like you go in, snippy snip, they give you a little druggy drugs and you go homey home.
Oh, but you're not allowed to call someone for 3 weeks?
Honey. No.
Over the holidays? Stay gone. Like, I'm just like, just stay
3 weeks
gone
over the
at that
holidays.
point.
You're with your family, sir.
I know. I was just going to say that
around.
is giving me second family vibes all day.
Oh, no.
Like,
oh, yikes.
It's not the freaking like 1800s anymore. You can't, go over to the next town and just like, there's your other family.
Start a new life. Yeah. You're like 10 miles away. It's just like an eternity.
I love this. I dated a guy for years before he broke up with me out of the blue. Quote, because I was always sick and he didn't want any of his kids to have a poor constitution. I have seasonal allergies.
Again, it's not 1885, right? Where it's just like, I don't know.
You can get Zyrtec, my dude.
Yeah. Like, gotta have a hardy woman, right? Like
childbearing hip. Oh my God.
Found out later he was sleeping with my best friend. Oh no. And all of our mutual friends knew about it. Oh, baby.
Oh, no.
That's an awful turn. I should have read that last part. I should have stuck with the allergies and let it go.
Oh, no.
You know what? Actually, that kind of reminds me of... So one of the events that we went to with this conference was a party where Paris Hilton was DJing.
Oh, my God.
And I thought, like, whenever I think about...
My fucking favorite.
So, yeah, first of all, the thing that Christina is so delighted about is that I had read on the, like, itinerary that it was going to be DJ Paris Hilton. And I was like, oh, is that like some new DJ in Los Angeles?
Going by Paris.
Right? Like, I was like, they're going by Paris Hilton.
I fucking wish now.
and then someone was just like, yeah, Paris Hilton's going to be here. And I was like, wait, what? Like the real Paris Hilton.
Really?
Yeah. Like that Paris Hilton.
Yes.
Like literally.
Yes.
Paris Hilton is DJ.
But I always think, when I think about Paris Hilton, I always think about that reality show that she did, The Simple Life, with Nicole Richie. And I always think about that time where it lives rent free in my brain. It was playing all week because of the Paris Hilton connection. And it's that scene where one of these like farmhand guys says something shitty to Paris Hilton. And Nicole Richie is like, I'm dead ass serious. If you call me dumb or her dumb one more time, I will beat your fucking ass. And they start laughing and she's like, I don't think you understand. Like, I will take you down. I've done it before. Like, and I'm just
awesome.
like, I love it because like, that's an example of a really good friend.
Yes.
Right? Okay. I think we should fuck, marry, kill.
Oh, shit. Oh. Really good friends?
Like ride or dies.
Yeah.
Well, then I want to fuck, marry, friend.
Oh, yeah.
We should definitely do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I hope that, I don't know that Nicole
Should we
Richie
have to
and
pick real
Paris
friends?
Hilton.
People that no one knows.
No, that'd be really fun. I don't think that Nicole Richie and Paris Hilton are actually ride or dies because like, I don't think that Nicole Richie was invited to her wedding this last year.
They had a falling out, but I think they're friends again.
Oh, well, good.
That's what I'd heard. I don't know. I don't follow that. It's what I heard. I'd seen it like in a blurb or something.
Well, let's just do like celebrities who give us the vibe that they're ride or dies. That seems like you know, like
Like they would throw down for you.
yeah, like they would have your back.
Okay.
Like at the end of the day, if you were in a farmhand situation,
Fuck around and find out.
they would be all fuck around and find out. Who
Right,
are Aries energy.
Listen, I think it's funnier if we do
Celebrities.
our actual friends. Like I'm just like, I want to pick Vanessa. Nobody knows who we're talking about.
We think it's funnier. Our listeners do not think it's funnier. They're like, I don't care who this person is. Well, then, yeah, I'm going to go with Nicole Richie because I rode for her super hard after that. I was like, that's a great friend.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
I'm trying to think of like a girl's girl kind of girl. I don't know why Blake Lively comes to mind.
Nice. I think so.
She just strikes me as like a down to earth girl's girl, like the kind that you want to run into in a women's bathroom. And she would like, she'd have a tampon.
For sure.
Oh, yeah.
She would have a tampon.
Yeah, she
for
keeps
you.
extra ones.
Just in case.
Yeah, and she's probably the type of person who would give you two. So,
Yeah.
like, I know you're going to need it later.
And she's also going to pump you up. If you were in the stall crying, she also gives me the vibe that she'd be like, honey, are you okay? And then she'd be like, who the she would get like hyped up.
Yeah.
She'd be like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, you know, we just did her last week, so we can't do her again, but it's exactly what we were talking about with Jessica Chastain, where I'm like, she gives me that, like, she's going to go to bat for you energy. Yeah.
I'm going to go with Pink.
Oh, okay.
good
yeah, I
one.
mean, Pink will actually, like,
I feel like she will.
beat someone up for you.
I feel like she will.
Yeah.
She's the,
I really do think she could take me if
Yeah.
I'm honest.
100%. Have you seen her doing
She
that
is
aerial
in
shit?
fucking shape, dude.
Yeah.
Yes.
Dude,
Yeah.
I want to be her friend specifically, so I'd be like, bitch, teach me how to work out.
Honestly.
Please.
And
Can I
I
work
want
out
to
with
do
you?
I want to do all that aerial art stuff that she does. Yeah.
Oh my God, I saw a TikTok the other day that was so inspirational, so amazing. It was like somebody that was like, took a year of pole classes.
Yes, I saw the same one. I almost sent it, and I was like, "Look, why do we keep talking about it?
And not
we need to
doing
get
it."
into pole
'Cause
dancing classes."
She was awful the
course.
first one, but then 1 year later, she's like
1 year.
fucking perfect. I was like, that is
Also,
fucking
her muscle
incredible.
tone was like bananas.
Of
I was like,
course,
"This looks like exactly what I want to do," because that's what I need. I mean,
Why
we
is
did
there
that.
not a pole in this spare bedroom right now?
I know. I
Keegan?
mean, honestly, very unsafe because I feel like I would do some kind of complicated maneuver and just run
drywall fall
all of our sound equipment's in here. Like, I just feels very unsafe. I also feel like I would need to have someone come in and install that pole.
Oh,
for
yeah,
me
yeah, yeah.
Because
Oh, yeah.
I've also seen the TikToks of
Oh, no.
people like they like run jump onto their pole and then it just collapses.
No.
My downstairs neighbors are like, "What was that?"
I got an earthquake. Okay, so we're FMKing Nicole Richie
Okay.
and Pink and Blake Lively.
Okay.
Okay. I think I know what I'm going to do.
All right, go for it.
I'm going to fuck Blake Lively.
Okay.
She's so hot.
She
Yeah.
is
Legs for days.
gorge.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
she's got a super fun sense of humor.
I love how funny she is.
she's
I like how
hilarious.
sarcastic she is.
Yeah.
And I will tell you, it's the only reason I can't marry her is because I feel like we might be too much alike.
You're too sarcastic.
we are the two
both
of us
you. Yeah.
would just we would actually implode in a
I
sarcasm
think you
bubble.
would actually end up accidentally hurting each other's feelings at one point because you're both so sarcastic.
Yeah.
You're like, it's not all jokes all the time. I need you to be
Or
serious.
is it? We would never be serious would be the problem.
Right.
I am going to marry Pink.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's a ride or fucking die bitch. She is got all that energy.
Her voice, man,
And
I fucking love.
I love
Amazing.
Pink.
Yeah.
And she just seems like very nurturing and very like caring and very giving. Like you want to be her friend. You want that. And then I think I'm gonna friend Nicole Richie because I think that she would be a really fun friend. And also, again, I think she'd be real ride or die. I think that she'd be. I just think she seems like a fun person.
Yeah, definitely. I think I know what I'm going to do. Okay. I am going to fuck Pink because I just feel like, and she's flexible.
Mm-hmm.
She's strong, and she's not going to make me feel too self-conscious at all. Like, I feel like she's going to make me feel really good about myself while we're having sex. Like, I'm not going to feel like all like, ugh, about it later. It's going to be really like just good. And then we're going to hang out later. Probably go down to the pool, get a mimosa, and relax later in the day.
Oh yeah, see, I gotta go.
Yeah,
I don't want to see light of day afterwards.
I do with Pink.
I'm embarrassed.
I do with some people, but I feel like she wouldn't make me feel embarrassed. Like I feel like she would make me feel very like, hey, that was cool, that was fun.
Yeah, let's get brunch.
Yeah, I'm gonna marry Nicole Richie. I just think that there's something about her energy that I really, really like. I can't put my finger on it. I think it's that she does feel fierce and funny and loyal, but she's also laid back.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's got casual energy.
Yeah. She's got real kind of like chill energy. She's also funny. Like I think that she's genuinely funny. That's what made her work on Simple Life was that like she's got a real like natural humor about her that I really like.
She's got a good sass.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah. I'm very attracted to
And you guys would
that.
definitely be able to wear the same clothes. I think you guys are like exactly the same like height and everything. Like you guys would probably be like your wardrobe.
Also, she has a fun wardrobe, or she used to. I haven't been up on her wardrobe lately, but she did that whole what I tried to do that never worked for me, which was that like bohemian kind of chic thing.
Totally.
Yeah, that I was just like a lots of like big jackets, like fringe, but also some sequins. I loved her. And I am going to friend Blake Lively because I actually feel like friendship wise, we're going to connect. Like we're going to click. We're going to have fun. I want to go shopping with her. Like I feel like a shopping trip with Blake Lively. She's going to hype you up when you're in the dressing room, when you come out and show her what you're wearing. I think that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to marry Pink as well. I do feel like she has like a steady energy. I feel like she is like ambitious, organized, very driven individual. And I'm always really attracted to that. People with drive. And I think, working out with her would be amazing. I get the vibe that we would mesh the best out of the three. So I'm going to marry Pink. And then I gotta fuck Blake Lively.
Yeah.
She's so pretty.
She's beautiful.
Amazingly pretty.
Yeah.
And like I said, so funny. I feel like we could just red wine and just zing back and forth.
Yeah.
And have like this amazing, incredible intellectual connection, which is always super hot. And then I gotta be friends with Nicole Richie. You know who she reminds me of a little bit? She reminds me of Amy.
Our friend Amy. I know.
Totally.
I was going to say, she totally reminds me of our friend Amy, who at this point I feel like the listener should know because we brought up our friend Amy like every other episode.
She's like our what's his face from the Beatles, like the fifth member. She's their George Martin.
Yeah.
Sure.
And she did actually sit in on a recording one time. So if you've listened to enough episodes, you might have heard her at one point.
Oh my God. That was from the early days.
Yeah, but Amy definitely has that ride or die chick energy. It is very similar to Nicole Richie's energy.
Like all good and all fun, but the very first time like a guy steps in or whatever or gets like gross or creepy, they're the ones immediately that like pop off.
Yep.
Yeah.
I want you guys to know that we picked 2 Virgos and a Libra. Like literally boom, boom, boom.
Interesting.
Who are the Virgos and who's the Libra?
So
I love Virgos and Libras, by the way.
I feel like Pink's got to have Virgo. And
that feels Virgo
I'm
energy.
Virgo rising.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and Virgo is Pisces' sister sign. So
So Nicole Richie is a Virgo, September 21st.
Yep, that tracks.
We have
Blake Lively's the Libra, huh?
Pink is September 8th.
Virgo.
So she's also a Virgo. Wait, are they all three Virgos? Hold on. And then Blake Lively is August 25th.
That's fucking
Oh,
Virgo.
Virgos.
Oh, they're all Virgos.
Virgos.
Oh,
Shit.
wow. Look at that.
All three Virgos.
I love Virgos.
There you
I
go.
love
That makes
Virgos.
so much sense.
I've-
I love all that. That energy, ride or die
Wow.
friend, Virgo.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it makes total sense.
I had to know.
That's amazing.
I don't think
Damn.
I've ever met a Virgo who I didn't click with. That I knew was a Virgo. I mean, I'm sure that they exist, that they're out there. But for me, yes.
I love it.
Splendid.
You love to see it.
Well,
Love to
there
see it.
you go. People say astrology is bullshit.
But here we are, just
but
proving
here
it
we are.
every week.
Yeah. Every week.
Every week, you guys. This is what you came for.
This is what you tuned in for.
Exactly.
We know for sure. Awesome.
Well, you guys want to take 5 and we'll come back with stories?
Sounds
Yes.
good.
And we're back. Okay. So who is it? It's Cassie?
My turn.
Cassie.
Yeah.
I'm so thrown off.
All right. My story is titled "How Quentin Tarantino Ruined My Relationship."
Oh.
Honestly, that tracks. I feel like that's right.
Yeah, I
It
can
is.
see it.
It's a long loop.
Yeah.
It's a long loop. And I feel like Quentin may actually have very little to do with this relationship's failure, but it is something. A long time ago, back in the before times, say 1996.
Oh, way in the before times.
Way before times.
I thought we were talking about like January 2020. No, we're talking about
No.
Okay.
Before times.
Okay.
I was a stupid 20-something goth girl that thought my value as a person was based on who I was dating. I was working as a dancer. She rates Reed stripper. So the guys I had been dating tended to fall into two categories. Guys that thought my job was awesome and that I'd fund their freeloading alcoholic lifestyle with all the money I was or wasn't making.
Oh, no.
Or guys that thought it meant I was a whore and they needed to save me.
Ugh.
Neither made for good relationships, obviously.
Yeah, no, that's
Yeah. Awful. In the midst of all this, I had a crush on a guy named Chris. He was about as opposite to me as he could possibly get. I was a perky goth, wore mostly black, listened to industrial and goth music, read Poppy Z, Bright, and Anne Rice, and loved all things spooky, horror, Halloweeny, and bat-infested. Chris, on the other hand, was a blonde, bronze-built surfer dude who loved the Grateful Dead, dipped his toes into the socially acceptable amount of grunge music, wore tie-dyed shirts and board shorts, hadn't deliberately cracked a book since 5th grade, and thought Jimmy Buffett and Budweiser were the pinnacle of human evolution.
Oh, no. Look, not for me.
Not
That's somebody's speed. It's not mine.
you're the goth girl. You're like the
Far, yes.
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 Oh my God, I saw a TikTok that was like someone found their sister's yearbook from 2010 and it was
If you guys look,
the side parts were like
I know
being a
where
perky goth.
I know where my freshman yearbook is from 2004, and we can flip through that thing if you want. Everyone had that exact same like straight
Hot Topic hair.
side bang that
Yep.
was like a
yeah.
far
Just a
far
real like
Extreme
a hand sweep.
Yeah.
It was
over
it-
one eye.
And it was, so we're talking 1996. She's
This is before,
more,
yeah.
She's like my goth era ish.
Right,
So you're
right.
you're talking like more like The Cure,
Yeah,
which was also a very heavy, very, very flat ironed straight.
Yeah, a lot of prep went into that look.
Yes.
Definitely.
There was the sleeve or the gloves, or what you would do. This is what you would do. You would buy tights, the fishnet tights.
Yeah.
You'd cut the crotch out, cut the arms.
Yes.
And you'd make
Yes.
a shirt out of it.
Yeah.
That
Oh,
was
yeah.
a real thing. It was a vibe.
I had that. I had one that
That
was
came back. Yeah.
Yes, it came back when I was in high school. I had a neon blue one that was fishnet that had the thumbs, like the
Yes.
holes for the thumbs,
Yes,
right?
of
Yeah,
course.
and I would wear it underneath my Edward Scissorhands crop top.
Yes.
So,
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good times.
Yeah. Oh, a real look.
Yeah, but this guy is not that. This guy is Margaritaville.
He's that. She is this.
Right. Yes,
She
exactly.
is this. He is opposite world. I met him at one of the weekly rainbow picnics. And then I don't know what that is. It's capitalized, so it must be something that happens in this area often.
Okay.
and then kept running into him around Coconut Grove, which I determined later is in Florida.
It is.
Where I lived.
It's in Miami.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yes, it's a suburb of Miami, a kind of a nicer suburb of what I remember. So
Cool. Sounds awesome. It actually sounds more awesome as we get into the story.
okay.
He didn't believe that I knew how to surf after we got into an argument about twin fin surfboards versus mono and tri-fin. But a Saturday morning jaunt to the beach disproved him of that idea. He thought it was hilarious that a, quote, Wednesday Addams chick actually knew how to surf. I was deeply in lust with him, and as a result, ignored the Hallmark store in the beginning of February's worth of red flags he had.
Wow.
Plus, he didn't care one way or another that I was a stripper, so it was a vast improvement on my previous partners. Which, in hindsight, is a marker of
Again,
how awful my dating period.
The bar is on the floor.
Exactly.
Like that's the bar. It's just like, oh, well, he's okay with how I pay my bill, so I should probably marry this guy. Yeah,
Oh,
no.
God.
I don't know if we've actually really talked on this podcast about how difficult it must be for sex workers to date.
Oh, yeah.
I was a stripper. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be like just like she said in the beginning of the story. It's like the
I was
ones
young and
that
didn't
either
think about
want to
it, yeah.
save you or the ones that like think that try to use you.
Oh,
in
this is
some
cool,
way.
right?
Yeah. Oh, that's got to be
Yeah.
tough.
It's so funny. I guess I never thought about it. I was pretty young at the time, and my boyfriend was pretty awful at the time. So yeah, it coincides.
Yeah.
We started dating after a few weeks of hanging out. At the time, he lived in a 2-masted sailing ship that his parents had bought after it sank into the Miami harbor during a hurricane. He was restoring it while he was working for his parents' topless boat name sign painting business.
What?
Wait. Oh, that's a lot to digest.
It was a very
Topless
confusing sentence.
boat painting.
Topless boat name / sign painting business.
Topless boat name.
I don't know.
Kind
I
of
don't
makes
understand.
a little bit more sense at the end.
Okay.
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 I was like,
I know
oh,
it's a lot.
wait.
Yeah. After a month, the lease was up in my studio apartment, so Chris invited me to move in with him on the boat. It was nice for a month or so. Then the problems started. I never hid who I was or what I liked, so I stupidly thought that it was okay with me being a goth, liking horror, going into local goth club, LARPing, and generally being my spooky little self.
Cute.
I was apparently wrong. It started with little things, asking me to keep all of my books and knickknacks in storage, saying I was really need to pare down my wardrobe on the boat. And hey, your sundresses, they take up a lot less room. Initially, everything was framed in the context of needing to keep things on the boat as minimal as possible. Of course, his 4 drawers of t-shirts and 2 closets of shorts and t-shirts didn't take up as much room, but my 1.5 drawers of clothes, the only non-black things I owned, were too much. Then it progressed to, why did I need to read those weird books? And why did I want to go dancing at the freak club? Didn't I want to go to the sports bar with him? He chipped away at everything I liked, replacing it with this vision of a preppy, bubbly, ditzy surfer girl.
That's so
that worshipped.
insidious to do it that way.
Oh,
like
yeah.
to just like slowly chip away at someone's personality and remove the things that you don't like. I hate that.
Yeah, no, he's fucking awful. I thought that compromise happened in all relationships. So I gave in to his requests and suggestions, not realizing that I was doing all the compromising. And he was
Exactly.
refusing to change or budge on anything that he saw as, quote, weird or freaky.
Oh, and yeah, I hate that. Yeah, that's not compromise at all.
No, it's not compromise.
Implies that both people are losing something.
Yes, or giving or
yeah,
yes,
exactly.
This came to a head after he found out I'd gone to a goth club one night while he was out having boys' night with his friends. He laid down an ultimatum of no more goth or spooky anything if I wanted to stay his girlfriend.
Goodbye.
Absolutely, I know, right? I was absolutely miserable, but thought that being with him was better than being alone. I offered to take him to see a movie to prove that I could be a good little bimbette.
Here's the thing. You can only suppress who you really are for so long. As someone who has tried every time I've moved to reimagine myself, because I'm like, this is a chance to start over. I can be whoever I want to be here, right? And like has romanticized like certain types of personalities. You can keep that up for a little while.
Right.
But eventually the real you
it's gonna
come out
through. It's
yeah.
I mean,
there's just no way.
and it's awful. Your existence sucks not being able to be who you are.
Right.
It just sucks.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I was texting with my mom last night, who went out with friends and everything like that, and got a phone number for a guy, and so she texts me and asks me how long she should wait and that sort of thing to text back. And I told her, I said, you text when you want to. You do what you want to do, because the right partner is going to be okay with who you are
right.
and how you want to communicate and all of that. If you try to think through and become the person that you think your partner wants, it's never going to
work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
I know.
I love this journey for her. He agreed on the condition that it had nothing to do with horror or anything like that. So I got us tickets to see From Dusk Till Dawn. I hadn't seen any of the ads for it.
Oh,
so all I
honey.
knew is that it was a Tarantino film and it involved mobsters. I thought this was perfect. And Chris loved Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction. We get to the movie theater and Chris was being all lovey-dovey and cute, making out, making sure that we got good seats and wanting to hold hands and snuggle as much as possible. The first part of the movie was great. He was really into the film and kept saying that it was a perfect choice and possibly one of Tarantino's best films. Then the vampires show up.
Yeah, this is a vampire movie.
This is a vampire movie.
Yes. Yeah.
Chris's hand on mine tightened until he shook it off. I tried to tell him that I had no idea the movie was about vampires or had vampires in it. I had thought it was a gangster movie and it was all a mistake. This was the final straw for Chris. He stood up.
Oh, good.
Shouted, "Liar!"
What?
at me, and then dumped his large soda on my head.
Oh, you got me fucked up.
He
Seriously.
yelled that I had done this on purpose, that I'd obviously liked my freaky shit and freaky friends more than him. And
You know
that
what? I do.
deliberately tricked him into watching a movie about freaky shit.
Also, can we just say,
He's-
I'm sorry, as someone just sitting as a bystander in that
If
place.
I
wait.
saw a man
But just
dump
wait.
a fucking
on
soda on a girl, I'm getting up.
Oh,
You're throwing
we're throwing hands.
Wait.
It's ride or die moment.
He slapped me across the face.
in a fucking
Shouted that
public.
we were over and stormed out.
Again,
Oh
like,
my God,
listen,
trigger warning for abuse.
You-
Holy shit.
like, imagine seeing that in public.
Oh,
there
Oh.
is no way
He doesn't
that,
leave that theater.
Like, I'm always amazed when
Well, I
I
mean,
see this shit. Whenever
not
people like,
killing him,
I'm
so.
like,
in public.
Yeah,
Yeah.
In
bold.
front of a fucking theater
Yeah.
of people.
Dumped
that you're
soda all over.
I would 911
hit her
fucking one
in the face.
Yes, we are
I'm
911
calling
fucking
the
wanting,
fucking
and
cops.
you are getting an assault charge, my guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
for sure.
Either you are or I am.
Apparently, there was no one in this goddamn
Probably both.
theater
Yeah.
because none of that happened. I can't believe it.
Wow.
I sat there for the rest of the movie, soda dripping off of me, quietly crying. By the time I got to the shipyard, he'd already taken off in the skiff out to the boat, so I was stuck on land for the night. I later found out that he had spent the night with a girl that he'd been cheating on me with.
Yeah, that's not surprising.
But that
Oh.
wasn't really a surprise once I stopped to think about it. I ended up sleeping on a friend's couch, and the next day I went to the shipyard to see about getting my stuff and my puppy. He obviously told me everyone in the shipyard not to help me. So after 3 hours of pleading with everyone I could find to help me to get to his boat, I ended up stealing his motorboat. She's like, you could turn it on with the motor with your thumb. Anyway, and headed out to the mooring.
No.
Packing up my things
That feels
took
unsafe.
a half an hour. So I piled it all into the boat and headed back to the shipyard as fast as I could. As I was getting my boxes out of storage, I found out that he had sold my puppy to a couple that sailed to the Keys that morning. That hurt worse than him dumping me, honestly.
I
I'm
literally
actually-
would have
I'm,
called the
really
police.
fucking upset.
Yeah,
That's-
yeah.
sold my fucking puppy?
This isn't a
Awful.
ha funny date. This is
No.
like a really terrible worst date.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this is a lot. Like he literally assaulted her.
Yeah. It's fucking awful.
Well, and it's like sociopathic to sell someone's pet.
holy shit. Like, right?
Yeah.
She did say it was a terrible relationship over all. It was 5 months. I'll never look back, but it was a valuable lesson, painfully learned. I vowed that I would never, ever give in to the demands that I changed just to please a partner ever again, unless it was for something I wanted to change for myself. I was successful in keeping this promise to varying degrees afterwards. But if a partner started suggesting that I change who I was, that was my cue to make a swift exit.
Yeah.
She did say there was like an edit too, that the people who had that had bought the dog off of him did sail down to the Keys, were gone for a few months, but she knew when they were coming back. So she was able to see the dog when they got back, but the dog was like super happy and like very happy as a boat dog, and they were taking really good care of it.
Well, I'm glad that
she
at
was
least
able to like kind of have that like, but that's, can you fucking imagine?
And you can't blame
somebody
that couple,
sold your fucking,
because that couple didn't know, I'm sure.
Oh, hell no. And that's what she
know?
said. She was like,
Yeah.
these people did not have a clue,
Yeah.
of course, to what was going on.
No, I'm scared
It's
about what this
awful.
man did later in life, because someone like that only escalates in terms of like violence and
You
abuse.
slapped somebody in a fucking public theater?
That's why it was like terrifying that she actually went to go get her
That's
stuff
what
by
I was going to
herself.
say. Don't go by
Yeah.
yourself.
Oh,
Do
never.
not go by yourself. We've talked about this many times. You have to call someone to go with you in a
You are
situation
not
like that.
inconveniencing your friends.
No.
Just stop thinking that you are. Your friends, people that are truly your friends, are not inconvenienced by going and helping you get your stuff, or
No.
letting you stay on your couch, or what have you. Like,
No, we
just
are not.
Stop thinking that. So your friends would much rather have you sleep on the couch than do a Dateline interview later.
That is the fucking
certainly.
truth. That is the full truth. Yeah, absolutely right. I mean, it's something that we talked about. It's, I know it's not a funny haha story. There were some funny like haha moments in the beginning, but that was a real fucking awful story.
Yeah.
And I think that I wanted to share that story because we actually had this conversation recently, which is that not all the fucking stories that we share, people came up to us many times, were like, oh, I have a worst date for you. I have a worst date for you. I have a worst date for you this week.
Mm-hmm.
And many times people say, like, oh, it's funny, like these funny stories. And I'm like, it's not always funny. Dating
No, it's
for
not,
women
no.
sometimes is not funny. It's
Well, dating for anyone. I mean, as we said last week with that honeypot story, it's like
That's right.
dating can be unsafe. You're putting yourself in a very vulnerable situation, both physically and emotionally and mentally. Trusting someone, trusting the wrong person can have devastating consequences, and dating is a lot of that. It's a lot of like trying to figure out who you can trust or should trust and being vulnerable with people. And like can be very scary. It can be one of the most beautiful things in the world, or it can be the most scary thing in the world, you know? So,
Yeah. Well, this one's going to piss you guys off.
Great.
In a different way. She said, I was talking to a guy on the apps. Things seem normal. He tells me he is deaf. Not a big deal to me. He wanted to meet for Sunday brunch. He suggested a place that was far from where I lived, but he said that the food and coffee are amazing. On the day, I took 2 buses and walked 20 minutes to this restaurant.
wow.
When I arrive, he isn't there. I order a coffee, and eventually he texts that he's on his way. I wait almost an hour until he arrives, and he isn't alone. He has brought another man with him. I go to introduce myself. I sign hello because I know some basic ASL. He makes these wild gestures, and the other man says that my date is deaf. He says that he is my date's interpreter.
No.
I tell the
Fake
interpreter
news.
that I knew he was deaf, and that is why I signed to him instead of speaking to him. So I start signing in ASL to him and my date, and his friend and him both turn white.
Oh.
You fucking dumb.
I immediately pieced together that this pair of assholes fake being deaf to get sympathy on dates. They never planned ahead for the eventuality that anyone would ever know sign language.
Oh.
I mean, honestly.
Oh my God.
I'm appalled by this deceit, so I get up from the table to leave. I had been served several coffees because he was 50 minutes late. I didn't want to stiff the waitress, so I go over to tell her that I'm leaving. She calls me an asshole for being unwilling to date a deaf person. I tell her the deafness is a lie. Later that night, I get several paragraphs on the dating app from him about how he got banned from his favorite restaurant.
Good. Goodbye.
They used to give him free food and drinks because they believed he was deaf, and I ruined everything for him.
Oh.
You fucking piece of shit.
Yeah. That is
Faking
some.
a handicap is so
fuck you.
fucking low. How
Fuck
disgusting
you.
is that?
Yeah. Oh, that's disgusting.
Dude. That is so fucked
then-
up.
bringing your friend in on it and making like arm gestures
Come
or
on.
hand gestures, trying to. I'm aghast right now.
Yeah.
Like pretending that you're doing ASL.
Wow.
Fucking awful.
Wow.
Don't do that.
What the fuck is wrong with people, honestly?
Like it's a
Who
real
raised you?
who raised you moment.
Yep.
Well, I'm going to lighten the mood, if that's okay.
Yes.
Oh, thank God.
Yes.
Honestly.
All right. I was swiping through Bumble and came across this hot guy. Let's call him Aaron for now. Aaron asked me if I'm down for a casual hookup, and of course I am. But since I don't want to end up disposed in a back alley, I asked him if we can meet up for a drink first. We met at Pine Box, and Aaron looked damn fine. He checked all the "this dude doesn't look too crazy" boxes, so we headed back to his apartment to go to Pound Town.
Well,
I'm in.
Oh, dude, I had a subscription.
Pound
Pound Town.
Yeah.
We got to his apartment, and he whipped out a bottle of wine and said, "We're going to get drunk and do some kinky shit like you've never done before."
And then he passed out. No. That's the kind of shit that happens right before somebody passes out, for sure.
I'm secretly thinking, okay, dude, just because you did anal once in college doesn't make you kinky.
Dude, I'm
Hit close to home.
hits a little close for me.
Little did I know, I was in for some weird kinky shit that night.
Ooh. Do
First-
tell.
First, Aaron whips out a plethora of toys, including a
Okay.
double-sided dildo,
Oh.
vibrator,
Okay.
and air pump.
Get it, AA Ron?
Okay.
Yes,
Present.
a fucking air pump.
An air pump.
Fast forward maybe an hour, who's really keeping track, honestly. After some anal prep and fucking on his porch, hello, exhibitionism,
You don't know what this is for?
he whips out his handy dandy air pump. Turns out this dude's fetish is blowing air into asses and listening to it come out.
We got a Byron on our hands. A Lord Byron loves his little farts.
Oh wait, it
Was it
wasn't Byron?
Byron?
It was someone. It was Henry Joycer. It was
Someone,
James Joyce.
someone like
James
that.
Joyce.
In that.
Yes. Oh God. That. Oh, he wanted to hear me blow a big juicy fart. Anyways, Aaron proceeded to pump air into my ass. I legitimately thought I was going to blow away. There was so much air in me. I was farting, queefing, and burping, sometimes fiercely for what felt like days
Oh,
after.
no.
Oh my
No
God.
days.
Oh, no.
I just was like, you were like a air pump. I just started staring at Chris. I'm like, I can't wait for you to find out what this is.
I've
No.
never heard of that before. Like people deliberately.
Oh no.
I mean, I've
I've never done that before.
I've heard
I
of the
don't-
fetish before. I've just
Right.
never heard of anyone deliberately pumping air specifically for that purpose.
Yeah,
before.
I'm not so much Party City with my with my butthole, but
Party City with your butthole.
Also, uncomfy. I'm not trying to be all bloated for like 3 days after.
No.
Like,
We were just talking during
Yeah.
the conference about like just like PMS bloating and
Yeah.
just how
Oh,
fucking
God.
uncomfortable and awful it
worst.
is. And I'm just thinking that would be just really uncomfortable for days afterwards.
oh, well,
Party
enjoy.
Woo. Well, on that note, do you guys want to take a quick 5 and we'll come back with our Tainted Love?
Yes. And we're back. All right. Let's go into the Tainted Love.
All right. So this isn't going to be fun. So just FYI, trigger warning. Like, I mean, we're going to talk about something criminally bad. This one's going to have a lot of, you're not going to love it.
Okay.
You're not going to love it.
Okay.
But it is a story that I wanted to tell because
Tail.
because it does give you that, like, well, I think we've talked about this before. Like, you never know who you're with. You never know, like, who you're bringing into
Yeah.
your home. You don't know, like, there's a lot of things. And, just because you've gone out with somebody a few times doesn't, necessarily mean that they're trustworthy.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a great story, but I'm going to start to tell you the story about Ingrid Line. Most of the information I got was CBS News, Wikipedia, an Oxygen article, as well as HLN, Sex and Murder, Date with the Devil is the name of the episode that I watched.
Yeah, I also, not to interrupt you, but I want to take a quick moment because I don't think we've ever said on this podcast before. With our new website, we do have pictures and sources linked to the episode on our website. So if you want to read up more on this, they're not in the show notes. They're actually on our website. So myrealestatepodcast.com if you ever want to, go read up on it yourself.
Yes, definitely. Thank you. Good point. Yeah. So Ingrid Line, she is recently divorced, but has been separated for about 2 years from her husband. She is just getting back on the dating scene. This is Seattle, Washington, by the way. So she's just getting back on the dating scene. She's really finally like coming out of her shell, and she is a well-loved nurse. She works at a local facility, and like people just love her. Like she is just, all the pictures they show of her too, she's just like always smiling, always joy. She has 3 children, and it does seem though that her and her ex have been separated for a couple years and just recently divorced. It does feel very much like they had a kind of, not, I don't want to say amicable because it didn't go into all the details of the divorce, but it does seem like they very much had a
cordial kind of,
a co-parenting situation.
They were adults about their breakup.
It definitely feels that way. Good. I mean, at the point that they are at this story, it does feel very much like you're dealing with 2 adults who happen to have children together. They do talk to each other. It does seem like that there's good communication between them, etc. So Ingrid had, like I said, she'd been getting on the dating sites. She actually had met up with this one guy and had been going on a couple dates with him. This is on April 8th in 2016. He and this guy had gone to a Mariners game together. So she goes on a date to a Mariners game. It's great. They have fun. It's the opening night. It's like a big deal apparently in Seattle for the big opening night game. I'm sure it's a big deal everywhere that there's, baseball team opening night, any big fan. And she was like a big fan of sports. Like she took her girls to like games. Like they all were big Mariners fans. They were big Seahawks fans. They were like really into sports. So on April 9th, she goes missing. Her ex-husband shows up. It's a Saturday, comes home or comes to her house, knocks on the door. Nobody answers. And her car is gone. And she's like, he's like, there's no way she's not going to be here for the kids. Like she knows today's the day. She knows I'm dropping them off. So he tries calling her. There's no answer. And he's like, this is weird. This has never happened.
Right.
This is not normal. So he calls her mother and is like, hey, I'm here to drop the kids off to Ingrid. She's not here. Have you heard from her? Her car's not here. And her mom calls, no answer. So she comes over to the house and she's like, I have a spare key. I'll let you guys in. We'll see if now they're like, oh, did something happen? Is she okay? And they get into the house. No one is there, but her key, her purse, her wallet, her computer, everything are there. Like her purse and like literally her phone, everything is sitting on the counter.
So
they're
she
like,
had to get back from the Mariners game.
she definitely came home.
Yeah.
But her car isn't there.
Yeah.
And she's not there.
Right.
And they look everywhere. And it's not necessarily like a big mess either. It's just she's not there. So they call the police, and the mom, during this time, they call the police. So the police come out, and she's like, oh, we share an account. I share a Verizon account with my daughter.
God bless the
So
family plan.
Oh, girl. Yeah.
How many crimes is that solved?
I mean, so she goes on and she's like, boop, boop, boop. She's like, oh my God, there is this number that comes up multiple times. So her and her other daughters, her sisters, Ingrid's sisters, are like, well, let's look on Facebook and see if we can't find that number attached to somebody. And they do. Like,
FB motherfucking
I know you got somebody twisted. You think this family was like, oh no, okay, so it connects to some guy named John Charlton, and they were like, okay, this I think is the John that she's been on a couple dates with. So let's connect with this guy. So mom texts him and is like, where is Ingrid? And he's like, I have no clue. She was supposed to have her kids today. And she was like, well, we're calling 911. And he's like, what are you talking about calling 911? Like literally what's going on? He's like, I don't understand. She was supposed to be at home. I saw her last night and I saw her, and that was it. I don't understand. I don't know what's going on. And he's like, just haven't seen her.
All shoulders. Okay.
All shoulders. Meanwhile, not far away, Mike Navasio is taking out his recycling. He's going out to the front, take his recycling bins back, putting them away.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, it's a little heavy. Opens up the bin.
His recycling bin?
Recycling bins.
Oh my God.
And there's 3 white trash bags in it. And he's like, what?
No.
What the fuck is this?
No.
So he reaches down in to pull them out, and they're heavy. And they're white bags. And so he pulls the first one out. And then the second one, he notices that there's definitely blood. This guy, you want to talk about trauma and PTSD? Like, this guy literally can barely talk about it still. This is like,
oh, I'll bet.
he is, I'm just like, he's shook. He's like, it's clearly visible that they're body parts. And he goes,
Oh my God.
he's like, I could literally see toenail paints, the color of her toenail paint.
Oh
It was
my
like, he was like,
God.
so he calls 911 in the most calm, by the way. Mike is like, 911, they answer, and he has like the most, he's like, this is going to be a little weird. He's like very much like, I can recognize how weird this is going to sound, but there's definitely some body parts in my recycling bin.
I think I would be in shock too.
Oh.
I would be like, yes, I need you to send somebody out. I would definitely just be
Bury that.
in shock,
Mhm. This poor guy. I just imagine. So, because these are like very fresh remains, they are able to very quickly determine that this is, the first phone call that they make when the police get there is like, are there any missing persons? And they're like, turns out we have this missing person. And they were very, very quickly able to identify Ingrid.
Now, is Mike down the street from?
Not specifically right down the street.
Okay.
So but in the same, in Seattle. Yeah, in the city.
Okay.
It's not, she's technically lives in Renton, and they didn't say specifically whether this guy's house was in Renton, which is kind of like a suburb of Seattle. So I don't know if it was specifically like in her neighborhood or like right up the street, but it was not far away.
Okay.
Yeah. Again, they're like quickly able to link this to Ingrid, and they're like, they really don't have a whole lot of leads. They know it's Ingrid, first of all, because the body parts that are in this trash they found the severed head. They found one leg limb and one arm limb. So they were able to.
That is a fucking nightmare, dude.
Yeah. Imagine my severed fucking head. God damn. So they're like, okay, well, we're obviously, it's pretty clear that it's not the ex-husband. Like he's got a very, very solid alibi. I mean, he had his kids. I mean, there was
who was she with last? Who was she with last night?
That's right. So they're like, who was she with? She was with this John Charlton guy. So they bring John Charlton in to the police station because, again, last person to be seen. And the interview gets kind of like weird from the jump. Like they sit down with him and they're like, can you give us your address? And he's like, I'm homeless. And they were like,
huh?
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, well, where can we find you then?
Where do you get mail sent to you? And he's like, I don't get mail.
You
I don't have
get
a PO
mail.
box.
Okay, listen, everyone gets mail. You don't get mail?
This man's homeless. Said he's homeless. He does not. He lives on the street. Where were you sleeping last night? He was like, I slept on the street in downtown.
Okay.
They were like, well, how did you get there? And he was like, Ingrid dropped me off. She's like, we took the bus home to her house and we got like pretty wasted, had drunk sex. I think we had drunk sex.
What year is this?
2016.
And then she drove him back to sleep on the street instead of letting him sleep over.
That's what he thinks happened. Oh, and he didn't sleep over because, oh God. So initially, like he also was like, oh, she's got her kids today. So she didn't want him to meet kids. And then they were like, well, why did you leave? And he was like, maybe I wanted a candy bar or something. He's like, I don't remember. I don't know. Like it's the most like,
I don't remember.
What? I don't remember. I don't know.
Yeah,
He's
I have a lot of questions, but
now he's like, I assume that Ingrid dropped me off because he's like, I don't really remember though. And he's like, so you guys went back and had sex at the house? And he's like, I think we did. I can assume we did because that's kind of like the nature of our relationship. And it was just like, dude, you're going to shit your pants. When you see this guy, you're like, this guy is so anybody you would swipe right on any dating app. Like anybody. Like he just looked like a normal dude.
Oh my God. This is like bringing me full circle back to the beginning when we were laughing about lies men tell. And now we're like, like, ugh, lies.
So again, he assumes. He doesn't really remember. He says, actually, he's not even sure they had sex. Sometimes he told him, he's like, I slept on the streets. He goes, but sometimes I do stay at my ex's house. And it's just like it's so a little all over the place. Like you're not really sure what's going on. And it just doesn't really make much sense. But at some point, he's like, I'm not normal. He's like, I'm not a normal person.
Okay.
And he's like, and also
elaborate on that, would you?
He would, except he would actually like to bring a lawyer in. So this is though the part where I'm like, he's like, yeah, you know what? Like it feels like the questions that I'm getting, I'm probably going to want to have a lawyer to help me out with this. And they were like, okay. So they leave. The camera is still on in this room, and this motherfucker is like, jack it off, wrap. Now a pillow. He's laying on the ground, falls asleep.
Well, all right. Wow.
Layers.
Okay.
This dude. So this guy, I'm kind of like, where do I tell you the part? Let me kind of do it still chronological. So stay chronological here. So meanwhile, during this, they're searching Ingrid's home and they find a box of trash bags that are mostly used, like the ones that Ingrid's body was actually found in. Mm-hmm. So they saw the box. It's mostly used and it's the exact same type of style. I mean, trash bags aren't necessarily thumbprints, but you know.
Right, but yeah, there's a lot that they can do. First of all, trash bags come in a wide variety.
That's right.
And
is it a red pole? Yeah. Is it a white bag with a red pole? And you know, so yeah.
And then it is actually like very helpful because they can like match the perforation and stuff like that to determine if it's from that box.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. That's very true. But beyond that, they find a pruning saw in the bathroom. On the pruning saw, they find blood, tissue, and bone left on the saw teeth.
No.
And also in the drain of the tub.
Yeah.
Now, the cleanup was pretty fucking good because on a first glance, you never like, nothing happened here. So just remember that. Like, it looks like nothing happened there. It's so clean. It's pretty much pristine. Minus a couple small mistakes.
Yeah, they had to go digging for it, like in the drain and find the
And other than the saw being left there.
But if someone was going to go in and do like a wellness check, they'd be like, "Well, this is weird, but nothing
That's exactly
violent happened here."
That's exactly right. So, a pruning saw. I feel like we can cut this if you want, but it's not. This isn't like a rotary saw. Like it's not a electric saw. Like this is like a hand saw that is smaller than like basically like like just a hand saw. It's a little bit smaller than that. And they were like demonstrating on the HLN show and I was like, oh Lord. The amount of like, you have to really, I mean, that's a commitment.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm struggling to see, like, I'm interested to hear where this goes because I'm struggling to see the motivation behind it other than pure, psychopathy, Yeah.
And I believe that's probably what it's going to end up boiling down to. 6 days after the missing person and the initial remains were found, a recycling crew who found more remains and a torso a few blocks away from the original remains. Also on the 18th, 9 days later, a human leg was found in the recycling center. So, I mean, they're like literally like, okay, so this guy just hit recycling things on the way.
That's also
like, how do you not think that that's not going to be gone through?
Exactly. I was going to say they fucking sort all that stuff. So like, did he want to traumatize?
What's your end
game?
What's your end game on this?
Yeah. Because I feel like there are like for lack of a better word, there are better ways to do it than that.
Yes.
Like if you're trying not to get caught.
Yes.
Like that's a very weird thing to do.
That's kind of been like, that kind of comes down to like the crux of it too, because they're like, you clean this place so serenely,
but you left
spotless.
the saw in here, which is weird.
It's like weird little things that don't math out. Like you're just like, this doesn't make sense to this,
but
this.
We're trying to make sense.
That's right.
Of it with our people brains. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
A logic brain.
Who's to say like what is common sense to a brain that looks like that?
And clearly this guy has said, he's like clearly he sounds like the kind of drunk who blackout drunks.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, from the way that he's trying to describe the night, sounds like he's the kind of guy who just gets blackout drunk. And he also admits that he does street drugs, what he says. And he doesn't go into what he uses, but he says, so who knows if that's also part of
that
this,
makes
but
me,
you got a real soul problem.
That makes me very scared because you get blackout drunk and you like order $70 worth of Taco Bell to be delivered to your house.
Right.
You don't get
and
blackout,
forget about it and don't eat it.
Right. Like you don't get blackout drunk and like murder someone in a grisly way and dispose of their body.
I mean, unless you're like on an HBO Max show. You
Yeah,
know?
I mean,
this is giving me Night of vibes.
It just makes me wonder, like, what else has he done blackout drunk? Like, because this is clearly, there's something wrong mentally if like that's where you go when you get blackout.
Right. Also, I'm just like, what's his Tinder game like?
Yeah.
If he's like
just looking for something casual. They showed his profile and it was basically like just looking for something casual. Like it was very normal. I'm not kidding. Like it just looked so fucking normal. This profile.
Yeah.
Oh, this.
And
is
I mean,
terrifying.
it wasn't Tinder specifically. It didn't show which one it was. I'm sure that they were like,
doesn't
please
matter.
do not.
Yeah, it doesn't matter which one it was because it could happen on any.
It could happen on any of them. That's the thing. Is like there's no background checks for these. We're just literally trusting one human that we met via a text message, basically.
Yeah.
It's so weird to think that this is how we date now. It is what it is, and I don't have anything against it, but does make you think about like how much you have to worry.
Well, you had to worry this much before anyway, because it's just like you meet someone in person and you don't know them either. You meet someone at a bar and
You're
go home with them.
right.
You don't know them.
You're absolutely right.
And it's just like, but there is something to be said about the way we live our lives now, where it's like, we get into cars with strangers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Uber
strangers
and Lyft.
bring things
Like,
to our doors. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we let them in, no problem.
Yeah, we buzz them up, to bring me my food or whatever.
Yeah.
I feel like I was just watching something this past week that was talking about how dating apps should implement background checks and should be responsible for people who like there was a guy that Match.com had been warned about this specific guy, and then he committed a murder against another user, and that family is suing, basically saying like you were warned about this guy, but they're all the way up to the Supreme Court, basically arguing that one specific statute or whatever, like Section 230, basically the same thing that protects Facebook from getting sued by people, that they're not allowed to be sued by anybody putting fake shit or content on the thing, that they're immune from lawsuits in that capacity. Match.com is pretty much saying the same kind of thing. Like
that's not the same.
We're
thing,
we're not responsible for what our users post or do.
Okay,
and
but you are when you've been warned about
That's
it.
right.
Like that's how I feel, and that's how like Uber got in trouble. It's like if you've been warned by users that this driver is
dangerous,
sexually assaulting people,
right,
or whatever, and you should be responsible for that. I'm not even saying like you have to do all these other things, but if you have already been warned, what's the harm in just removing that person from the site?
That's
just,
exactly right.
Listen. They'll go to a different dating site, but it doesn't have to be yours.
Right.
Now they're
You
not
don't
on
have to promote it.
Match.com.
Right.
That's
You know,
right.
like.
And guess what? If Match or whomever or whatever dating site did that, you would be the number one place.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
because
people would feel
safer
safe.
place. If you were the dating site that made your users have like background checks in order to use it, do you know how many women would use that fucking site?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would be huge.
I'd use that site and I'm married.
And listen, there's an argument to be said for like and it's the same one that gets brought up for gun control when they're talking about like, well, then sometimes like innocent people won't be able to use the blah, blah, blah. I'm like, well, I would
I know
rather.
what to tell you.
I would rather
to be, that's exactly how I feel. If we're protecting one person from a bad situation, then it makes it worth
right.
it.
And then sometimes it catches an innocent person in the mix, and they're not able to use
Match.com.
Yeah, we're also not
that's
talking about one single DUI here. We're talking about like real like fucking bullshit criminal behavior.
Right.
Yeah.
So that being said, okay. Oh, sorry. Anyway, really quickly, coroner's report shows that before being dismembered, she was strangled. So they were able to, with the pieces that they had found, that they were able to determine that she had petechial hemorrhaging. She had been strangled. There were marks around her neck. That was clearly. The other thing that they noticed right away was that when he had come in, they took pictures of him, and he had some scratches on him. He had scratches on his chest. He had scratches on his arms. But also too, the guy's homeless. So at this point too, without any,
Can you just spoil it for me right now? Because I feel like I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop. Is he actually homeless?
Yeah.
He is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was just
but he does stay at his like exes every once in a while.
Okay. Because
so.
it feels like I felt like he was lying about that. I was like,
because
is he
you look
lying
at this
about
guy and you're like, this guy ain't homeless.
Right.
I mean, he, like I said, he looks like anybody. He looks like somebody we would hang out with. He just looks like a normal dude. I'm telling you. And so like he clearly has access to things or knows how to manipulate, but he did. He slept on the sidewalk and
right. And absolutely no stigma against like unhoused people. That's not at all like the point that we're trying to make here. I just felt like he feels like a liar. So I wasn't sure if he was saying that to avoid the cops from coming to his house to look through his shit. Like that's why I was like,
no, he really is just, he doesn't really truly have a place to stay. So, I mean, on some nights he stays with his ex, but other than that, he was living literally on the street, unhoused.
Okay.
So, they also found her SUV in Belltown. Prints under the door handle matched John's. Also, the trash bags that were from her place, unused trash bags, were in the car or in her SUV. So it was just like literally stacking, like stack up. Well, his ex that he sometimes stayed with had said he was supposed to be there the next day, that Saturday. And that he had a fat lip by that time he saw her and abrasions, and told her he got robbed when they had gone to after the Mariners game at one of the bars. So it was like, she was like, now that this has come into light, makes me feel like that might've been a lie.
Yeah. Might need to share this little tidbit of information.
When at the police, like I said, they did notice some scratch marks. His ex also told the police that he had told her, and she didn't believe it, but he had told her that he had murdered someone in Florida. So the HLN episode did say that the Washington police did reach out to the Florida police. They haven't determined specifics yet, but
can I just say, because I feel like this has happened multiple times on this podcast, where they're like, oh yeah, the person I was seeing like haha joked about like maybe they killed someone before and I just thought that they were kidding.
Hilarious.
We're not staying in touch after that.
No, I don't care if it is a joke. It's
That's
like
not funny.
Incredibly not
weird.
funny. And
not
it's
funny.
a weird thing to joke about, and I'm going to take you at face value if you say that.
Yeah,
and
what
I'm also
a
calling
weird
the cops.
thing. But you're like, yeah, but we're broken up, but you can still like come sleep over, even though you made this joke one time about murdering someone in Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
What's
we're
happening?
not doing that.
Here's the other thing too. I'm in a couple groups online on Facebook that are like, they're called like investigation this or that, and they're kind of like catfisherinos.
Yeah.
But they're also the place where like you're like, I'm getting a weird vibe from XYZ. Could somebody help me with a background check? Is this guy lying or and people will help you.
Right.
They'll be like, oh no, I don't come up to that person.
Absolutely.
And it looks like he got married in this state and da-da. You're just like, oh shit.
Yeah. If you do not have a Captain Snoopy Pants in your friend group, someone that is really good with Google or what have you,
and Lieutenant looks it up.
Go look at Facebook groups, because there are plenty of like women's private Facebook groups that actually like will do this stuff. There's a lot of like women private investigators that like have access to all these databases and stuff that are keeping women safe and doing God's work.
Yes. And I bring that up because, and I'm not saying this I'm not shaming her, because this is 2016 and at some point you have to be able to live your life and just trust people and go on dates and do things.
Right.
And I think
Yeah.
that's the hard thing. You shouldn't have to like do a background check on every single person that you're dating. But guess what? If a Match.com or a Bumble or a Tinder were doing these things, they would have noticed that he had convictions in 6 different states, including robbery, battery charges. His mom and dad had a restraining order put against him.
That's a red flag.
He went up to his mom, pulled a movie off the shelf, put it in front of her, and like slammed it down and said, "Beware." The movie she pulled was Hannibal. So it's just, I mean,
but that's the thing, is that these people do present so normally. Like, that's just like, you would never think. And I can't, we're not placing any judgment on her at all, because it's just like,
I wouldn't probably have done that. I probably wouldn't have done a background check. But
no,
I'm just
why
saying,
would you?
like,
You trust these apps. I mean, Christina, how many dates did you go on with guys you didn't know? And like, you just go off of your gut. And these people are good at tricking people.
I paid $25 a month to be able to take a phone number and look up if someone had a criminal record.
Oh,
it was worth it for me.
Oh, wow.
I used Spokio.
There you
So
go.
I'd be able to see if they had like, it's just worth it. It was like a little bit of peace of mind, so that, it was the least I could do, know?
Yeah.
No, but that's smart.
Because, I mean, I wasn't always 100% safe or whatever, but that was the one thing that I made sure of, is just,
But even then, you know, like the story I told last week, that guy had a history of violence, but no criminal record
That's
either.
also can
And, like,
happen.
that,
Exactly.
That sort of thing happens all the time too. And so it's just like, you just don't know. Like, you just don't know.
Yeah. It's so scary. But like I said, he was, kind of admitted that he had too much to drink. He doesn't know what happened. So this kind of all was starting to lead prosecutors to think, is he going to just be like, I don't know, I was blacked out and I don't, but they're like, they have a lot of like physical evidence at this point.
Right.
But also the other thing that's like, how fucked up. I mean, I imagine being so drunk and or on whatever other drugs that, sorry, never mind. My mind went to a place where I was like, well, if I did that, I might be able to.
Right. Yeah. If you're mixing, matching, combining like heavy drinking with a bunch of drugs, you might not remember. I don't know.
No, I'm not talking about not remembering. I'm like, how do you have the capacity to fully systematically take someone apart, methodically clean, wrap up?
Right. To me, this seems like a lot of work. Right, like where I'm just like, you're making your way downtown, fucking dropping stuff,
making my way
exactly
downtown, barking them out.
I don't think that's what that song's about.
No,
but yeah, it does. It feels like a lot.
Yeah,
like to have done in a state like that. But I mean, I don't know. I don't do drugs. I have no idea like what would happen if you combined heavy drinking with drugs.
Feels like a lot, and it does feel like methodical.
Like a lot for the police to prove that, murder versus like manslaughter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
you certainly. I mean, you can't.
His story is blackout drunk and incapacitated or what have you. Like,
how do you
some
prove
sort
intent?
of diminished capacity.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that is partially part of the thing that he does come up with, is diminished capacity. He didn't use a gun. There were a lot of things that like ended up, first of all, long story short, he pleaded guilty, which was, on the HLN show, it was like, they were like, it's a good and a bad thing. It's a good thing because it does save the family from having to go through this really long process of like, of a court trial and et cetera. And he did it, it just admits it, and it's kind of quote unquote done with. But at the same time, there's a lot of questions about like, the why, again, even if you went through a long trial, you may never
the
answers
know.
you're looking for.
Like, I think as a family member, I would rather, I don't know that I necessarily need to know the why. I would much rather not have to listen. I can barely sit through the details of this case.
I know.
I can't imagine being a family member and having to go to trial and watch somebody deny whatever.
She's got 3 beautiful daughters, and her ex-husband spoke at court during the sentencing, and he was just like, you could see he was like, I was robbed of my partner in raising our children, and like,
Right, yeah.
you know, like, and how much this person. I mean, we could say this every single week. I mean, these people are real fucking human beings who have lives and families, and we're just so unceremoniously robbed of this
For no reason.
beautiful human being because some guy
Right. For
that
no
she
reason.
met on a
because-
dating site decided tonight's the night that I'm going to.
Yeah, that's the
fucking
thing is like
murder someone?
I might want to know the why just because I just feel like for whatever reason I need to know.
Sure.
But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter anyway.
That's
like
right.
why you did it doesn't really make a
It
difference.
doesn't change
Like,
anything.
You're
It doesn't
gone
change
It
anything.
still.
really seems like, though, from the details of this case, that's not the first time.
That's exactly right.
That's the
So-
thing that concerns me.
So, of course, speculation wise, like one of his exes went on Dr. Phil and talked about like how he was, you know, a little, you know, abusive, and he was, you know, he choked her really hard one night during sex, kind of like thinking that it was like probably meant to be a kinky thing. And she's like, you know, her speculation was, you know, maybe this is the time it went too far and he didn't know what to do. Maybe, and listen, all those things could be true. The way that this was so masterfully put away, like the way that he
exactly.
he took care of the body and all that stuff, feels very, this isn't my first time.
Yeah.
Feels that. It
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
it just rings true of that. And this is not, you're not going to love this. First degree murder is what he's found guilty of, is what he pleaded guilty of.
Oh, wow.
He was also charged with like theft of her car, like other little extraneous things. But he was only sentenced to 28 years,
For
basically.
why?
So that means he can
Why?
still get
'Cause-
out when he's 60s.
Because he made a plea deal?
No. Because in the state of,
Washington.
yes, in the state of Washington, they have done some prison reform. So there's part of me that's like, there's good and bad here. There's this like, they've done prison reform. So there's like a score system based off of past crimes, how those crimes like rate on certain things, like, and
Oh, my goodness.
I know it's,
As someone who is pro prison reform,
I know.
like seriously though, like
I
as someone
know.
who is pro prison reform, I think like we are far too quick in this country. We incarcerate people at a number that is truly like astronomical, and the fact that the
first-degree murder
prison
should
industrial
never-
complex is it's really, really gross, and for-profit prisons and all of that. And I could talk about that all day and how corrupt I think all of that is.
Same.
This person
Choir.
does actually have a criminal history, and the crime that they committed was so like extra in
But
terms of like brutality.
Oh,
but he technically didn't use like a deadly weapon, and he choked her.
I
So
don't
it's-
care. Like I don't care.
Listen,
Yeah.
don't tell me. I know.
Let's talk
I
about how
know.
like honestly though, like crimes against women,
Oh yeah.
like how we're still fighting to get people to take them seriously, like domestic violence, especially.
Domestic violence, sexual abuse, sexual assault.
Stalking.
I've known a lot of spry 60-year-olds. Like this man could get out and do it again.
Oh, no,
like he
yeah.
absolutely could.
For sure.
Oh yeah.
For sure.
Like that's horrifying.
Yeah.
That's very, very scary.
Yeah.
And gosh.
Yeah. So that is the dreadfully awful story of Ingrid Line. And, you know, it's sad. It's sad
Yeah.
because it's just like, you know, there's nothing she did wrong.
No.
But, you know, her family is very much like advocates, like making sure, like just being extra cautious about online dating. Like they definitely,
Right.
you know, want this story to be out because they want people to advocate and tell people like the truth of like what can happen.
Yeah,
in
but I
these
mean,
scenarios.
the truth is, and we talked about that last week too. Yes, of course, be as extra safe as possible on your social media platforms, on dating apps, on all that stuff. But men have been doing this to women since well before dating apps existed. On you know, and
not
like
wrong.
so, it's just be safe, no matter who it is. It could be a friend of a friend. We've told like dating stories or tainted loves where it's like, I thought this person was safe because we had friends in common or whatever. And
Yeah.
it's like, it's just, you know, use your intuition, make sure your girlfriends always know where you're at and what you're doing and are in on things, communicate with people.
Yeah.
So you know.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about it all the time, you know, when we're reading bad date stories, you know, it's a lot of times the men having stories about being catfished and everything.
Oh,
and
geez,
it's
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
you know,
For women, it's much
If only.
scarier, in a lot of ways. And not to say men can't have scary experiences. We've told those stories, and they definitely can. But the rate at which they occur for women
is disproportionate for sure.
Yes, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Be safe out there.
Yeah.
Well, let's flip the script.
Let's cleanse that palate.
Let's talk about what we're watching. I know that we had a crazy week this week, but I do want to say,
oh yeah,
I stayed up until 4:00 in the fucking morning last night to finish Bridgerton season 2. Now we got called out for spoilers, so I'm not going to spoil this for anybody. But if you're a fan of romance novels, you will like this. I'm going to come out and say it. I enjoyed this season more than season 1.
What would you say it would be on the yeeting on sheets meter? Is there a large yeet on sheet plot line?
It is no yeets on sheets. However, it and way less horny. Yeah. I will say than season 1
in a different way.
But it's horny in a different way.
It is. It's a different way. Yeah,
it's tension.
Oh,
it's fucking simmering.
Tension is my favorite.
Oh, you're gonna love this season.
Like, is it the Pride and Prejudice hand? Yes, Keegan, you are gonna. I cannot wait for you to text me.
I'm stoked. I'm sold.
You will
text us both
this season more than season 1 as well too.
Okay,
I'll come out and say it.
I'm in.
I will say it. Of course, this is from a book, right? It's from a series of books, so it does have that thing that multi-series books has, where the first book might be like, this is the kind of trope, right?
Yes.
This trope is very much the enemies to lovers trope.
Okay.
Right?
All right.
So, yeah. That's not my thing for the week, though. So, but I'm on board. I watched all the last 2 episodes. That's what I'm doing tonight.
Definitely recommend it. I'm glad to hear that they're going to start filming season 3 this summer. So
I'm excited.
Yeah.
Love it. What about you, Cass?
Oh, okay. So I actually, I did not get much watching in except for Bridgerton 2, but during every morning and for the past week, I've been listening to an audiobook. You knew I was
We know. I know.
All I've talked about all week.
Cassie is so aggressive with her recommendations.
She really is.
I love it.
She's like, you have to do it right now. I mean, to the point
then
where
I feel like nobody believes me.
To the point
and
where
nobody
this
follows
morning,
up.
I almost bought it. I have an Audible subscription, so I usually just wait to get my like one a month, and then like.
Yeah,
but I'm like, gosh, like Cassie's really laying it on thick. I'm like, I'm about to spend the $10.99 or whatever it costs to like get this book. Like,
yeah, wait to get your free coupon. Okay, so let's tell everybody what the book is. It's The Midnight Library. Now,
Matt Haig, I think is
Matt Haig.
Yeah.
Yes. And there were some people who were like, I think like some people like who knew that like his background is in self-help or whatever. And I'm like, I don't know how there's a bad review about it. I honestly was just like, I thought the book was so good. Was it in the end, was the ending a bit predictable? Sure, but it was like still, it was good. It's really good. I could see how it could be a movie. I listened to it on Audible because it's easier for me to do like.
Wasn't it Carey Mulligan or someone?
Carey Mulligan did it, and she is so good, and it's so well. Her voice acting in it is really spectacular for like a well-read book. And I mean, other than her trying to do an American accent, which was really bad for some reason, everything else was actually super spectacular, and you only have to hear the American accent for a couple things. So, but it was. I mean, she just keeps the story moving. It's so engaging. It's so. Just to give you guys a little bit of there's nothing spoiler here about this, but I was. The book basically, the synopsis is there's a library that you can go to, and you're like on the verge of death. You're between death and life, and you get to choose like you made mistakes. Pick a thing that you would change. Like, I wish I hadn't, or given up on this dream. I wish I hadn't, done X, Y, or Z, and it just changes. That you go into that life and you're like get to live that life if you had made a different decision. And so it's really fucking cool because it's basically like just talking about like universes, right? Multiverse. What does this universe look like? And so it's everything is happening at the same time.
Yeah.
It's you at that time right now
Oh yeah,
living
No.
that life.
Time is a human construct for sure.
It's wild, dude.
So,
You're gonna
yeah.
love this book.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I am definitely gonna read it. I get a little dangerous sometimes with the what if game, like going back and thinking too hard about like what if I went left instead of right kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I've put the kibosh on that way of thinking sometimes because it doesn't allow me to
Live
in the
your
present.
current
live
life.
in my present.
And that's, I think, why you'll like this book, because
Okay.
it does kind of show you like that it's actually perfect for somebody who questions that, like the what if in their lives. It's perfect because there were some lives where it was like, God damn, that would have been so fucking amazing. Look what this could have been. But then also you get it actually, I think, almost would kibosh that for you.
Okay.
Like it really, I just thought it was so, because I think we all do that. We all go, God, what if I had, what if this, what if that,
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
Well, I have tried to prepare for the Oscars badly. Really haven't watched a lot of Oscar nominees. Today, the day we're recording this, is the night of the Oscars or the day of the
Oh,
Oscars.
I know. I had to try to get out of West Hollywood. To come over here.
Icky.
Everything gets fucking shut down.
Yeah.
Which is weird because I'm like, what, they cut half the Oscars, so we're not watching it. My husband's like, we're boycotting. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be watching it except for that
Yeah.
friends are having a thing. So I'm going to go over there. But I did watch Nightmare Alley last night.
Is it good?
I actually really enjoyed it.
It's good.
I wanna
I
see
really
it.
enjoyed it. Very noir, very, Guillermo del Toro. I liked it a lot.
Good.
And then last night I started watching Our Flag Means Death.
Ooh.
It's
Yeah.
so funny. I have been enjoying it. If you just want kind of like,
Mindless.
yeah, just like kind of just funny, silly
But it's sweet.
brain
It's got
rest.
heart.
Yeah. It's a Taika Waititi joint. So if all of you Taika heads out there,
If you
you'll
liked-
enjoy it.
If you liked what we did in the shadows,
Yeah.
then you'll like
It's cute. So yeah.
Nice. Well,
Awesome.
hey, if you got recommendations for stuff we should listen to or read, if you have bad date stories, if you want more information about the episode and our bad date stories and tainted loves, go to our one-stop shop of a website. It's myworstdatepodcast.com. And we love you so much.
Cheers.